kills his son unintentionally as the result of disciplining this child, we had that the father would be exempt from going to exile. But here we're talking about that the father, the murder happened not because he was disciplining the child. The murder happened, the father's going up a ladder and the child was underneath the ladder, let's say, and the father fell off the ladder, let's say, such a circumstance. So now the father is going to exile. Now the question is, we know when a person is obligated to exile, the closest relative, see the question, who is that Goel Adam? Some say it's any of the 7 close relatives. There are 7 close relatives to a person. There's the father, the mother, the son, the daughter, the spouse, the brother, and the sister are the 7 closest relatives. Some say the Goel Adam is the one who's actually going to inherit, the one person who's going to inherit the estate of the person who was murdered. So the question is, can a son be the Goel Adam to be able to have the right to, so to speak, kill the person who did the murder if the person leaves the Uri Miklat? So we have 2 opinions in the Braita. We are in Yud Beis and Aleph, 12a. So Tani Chada, Av Sheharag Shekil, father that killed. Beno Nasa Lo Goel Adam. First opinion, which will not be, the Gemara will not continue with this, will not stay with this opinion. The first opinion here, the Gemara understands at this point is that the son, the brother of the victim, becomes the Goel Adam, and he has a right to kill his father if his father leaves the city of refuge. The Tanya Idach, and we had a different Braita, Ein Beno Nasa Lo Goel Adam. The son is not able to become a Goel Adam, and the son is forbidden to kill his father, even if his father walks out of the Uri Miklat, of the city of refuge. So you have 2 opinions on this story. So the Gemara now says that Lema. Now, what are these 2 opinions based on? So the Gemara is thinking to say that maybe it's dependent on what we said, something that we said before. Lema ha Rabbi Yosef Lili, ha Rabbi Akiva. We had 2 opinions earlier whether there is a mitzvah on the Goel Hadam, on the closest relative, to avenge the blood of the victim in general, or does he just have a right to do it? There's no mitzvah for a Goel Hadam to kill the murderer who steps out of exile, as we learned in the Gemara, intentionally, not that he wandered out of exile. The guy intentionally left exile. Is there a mitzvah to kill him, for the Goel Hadam to kill him, or just a right? So we had 2 opinions, and we said the halach is it's a right. But maybe that's what this argument is connected, is dependent on that argument. If you hold that a person that a Goel Hadam has a right to kill the person who stepped out of exile, but there's no mitzvah, so a son, we won't give the son that right. The son, the fact that if it's not a mitzvah to do that, it's just a right to do that, but a son who has an obligation to honor his father, to revere his father, that we're not going to give him the right to kill his father under such a circumstance, when the father is the one who was sitting in exile, who left exile, because of his relationship. It's a father-son relationship. The Torah never gave a mitzvah, according to that opinion, for the Goel Hadam to avenge the blood. If there's no mitzvah, and you have a mitzvah to honor your father, so that mitzvah of honoring your father will trump, should lend weight to say we're not going to give you that right in such a circumstance. However, the opinion that says that there is a mitzvah for a person to go ahead and avenge the blood if the guy leaves the city of refuge, so the mitzvah should not make a distinction. The mitzvah is, the logic perhaps would be to say that it doesn't make a difference who who the mitzvah is applying to, he has a mitzvah to go ahead and avenge the blood. So the father also, he should have right to kill his father. That's what the Gemara is thinking at this point. Now, the Gemara, that's what the Gemara says. Hak Rabbi Yosef Glili, Hak Rabbi Akiva. Each one holds, each opinion is based on, remember Rabbi Yosef Glili was the one who said that there's a mitzvah to kill the person who leaves the city of refuge. So therefore, the opinion that says that the son has the right to be the Gol Adam against his father goes like Rabbi Yosef Glili. And V'ha Rabbi Akiva, the opinion that says the son has no right to go ahead and kill his father under such a circumstance, he holds like Rabbi Akiva, who says it's never a mitzvah, it's only a right, and we don't give the right to a child to avenge the blood of his brother when it's going to be at the death of his father. So the Gemara says, Hisbara, is this logical what you're saying? Even if we hold in general, the Gemara says, there's a mitzvah to avenge the blood. The one who says Rishut, which we said that's the law, that it's only a right of the Gol Adam. But Mishari, is it a child ever have a right? And in general, we're going to see there's exceptions. Does a child have a right to punish his father? V'ha'ama Rabbi Baravuna. Rabbi Baravuna said, "V'chein Tana the Bei Rabbi Yishmael in the Beit Midrash Rabbi Yishmael l'kol ein baben nasa shliach la'aviv." In all matters, whatever sin that the father did, in general, most sins that the father does, the child is not allowed to act as a messenger of the court. You know, the court has a messenger who metes out the punishment, who's the one who gives the malkut, the one who gives the lashes.
Yes, a son would be a very inappropriate messenger of the court.
Exactly. And he's not allowed. He's not allowed. It's forbidden. It's forbidden for a son to be that man, to hit his father, or the kalaloto. Or sometimes, let's say we had the Gemara about there are 24 situations that we quoted the Rambam. That remember Jaime. I think you said let's go through some of them. I think you recall that when we had the Rambam, that 24 situations that we could put someone in excommunication. That we will say that you can't stay so close to him. There are certain rulings. We don't accord this person once he's excommunicated. He's not allowed to take a haircut during that time. There's a lot of what I recall. There's a lot of things. A person who gets excommunicated for doing certain sins. A person who we spoke about, who has a bad ladder in his house and he doesn't want to fix his ladder, someone could get hurt. Or someone has a bad dog in his house that's dangerous. Or somebody who disgraces the rabbi in public or whatever. I don't know, even maybe not in public. Someone really disgraces the rabbi. Certain sins would warrant sometimes that the person has to be excommunicated and he has to repent. He has to do tshuva for acting this way. And then when he repents, we'll take him out of excommunication. So if the rabbi, and sometimes it's a rabbi that will put the court or whatever will put the person in excommunication. A child is not allowed to be the one to say, my dad, I'm putting my father in excommunication. It's not like you said, it's not appropriate. The same way it's not appropriate for him to go ahead and to hit his father, to be the agent hit his father. He's not allowed to be the one to put him in excommunication. Excommunication is a form of cursing a person. He's cursed, it's a form of punishment. And therefore, the Torah says a child can't hit his father, can't curse his father or his mother, and therefore it's not appropriate. This is a type of it's a type of curse. He's being cursed. That he has this type of, it's a type of similar to cursing. Child can't be the one. Chutz min hamesit. But if a father is the one who one exception. There's only one exception that a child could be the executioner to his father if his father is encouraging people to worship other gods, the Avodah Zarah. That's the only case, and that is because of a special pasuk. What the pasuk says, "Shari Amra Torah." The Torah says, "Lo sachmo," don't have mercy. Lo sachasa alav, don't cover up for the person who went ahead and goes ahead and he does the sin of encouraging people to do avodah zarah. There, the pasuk, because the pasuk over there is talking about somebody who is trying to encourage his relatives, because that's usually where it happens, that a person uses his influence as being related to somebody to influence them, and that's sometimes it's people influence their relatives that they get them involved in business deals. That's fine. You get your hopefully, as long as people are being honest, they get the relatives involved in business deals. But they get problem is sometimes they get the relatives involved in doing bad things as well. Sometimes people use that power that they have, and the pasuk says right after the Torah talks about the father trying to influence his son, or someone trying to influence it's talking about influencing the son to do avodah zarah. The pasuk says, "Don't have mercy on the person who is doing this influencing, trying to persuade the people to go off the proper path." And then the pasuk says that there's a special mitzvah on the one who was trying to be the victim, the apparent victim that the person was trying to persuade to go off the derech. There's a special to do avodah zarah. There's a special mitzvah on that person to be the one who kills the one who's trying to influence him to do avodah zarah. There's a mitzvah on the one who is being approached to go off to do avodah zarah. The mitzvah on him to be the one to do the execution to the one who was trying to do it to him. And since the subject matter was also talking about a father influencing a son, and the Torah says over there in that context, the one who's being influenced has a mitzvah to kill the one who's trying to influence him. So we see from there that the child also has the right to kill his father under that circumstance when the father was trying to persuade him to do a sin. You should know Rav Moshe Feinstein, in his letters of Igrot Moshe, he writes that trying to persuade, the Torah talks about persuading someone to do idol worship. But but part of that prohibition is anytime you persuade somebody to do a sin, any sin is also part of this prohibition of influencing someone to do sin. And Rav Moshe Feinstein's opinion is, if you're going to invite somebody on Shabbat to come on Shabbat, and you know because of your action he's going to desecrate the Shabbat, because of you inviting him, you're inviting him to come to your house for Shabbat. Or even Rav Moshe Feinstein holds, even if you make a minyan, but you make a minyan in a way that I want to make a minyan on Shabbat, that everybody got to drive to on Shabbat to my minyan, that's also part connected to the prohibition of a mesit. A mesit is someone who tries to get someone to do a sin. And people need to realize that even Rav Moshe's opinion is, even if it's for a person, even though maybe you want the person to come to shul, but he's coming to shul and he's coming to pray because of he's traveling on Shabbat because of you. So Rav Moshe's opinion, that's also a problem, part of this prohibition of trying to get someone to do a sin, even though you have a good intention for why you want the guy to come to you. That's
Rabbi, that doesn't sit well with Chabad.
That's right. That's true. It's not everybody maybe accepts that opinion, but that's his opinion. I once spoke to Rav David Feinstein, his son, about a situation. He said, Rabbi, he said to me, you know what? You got to be creative. If you can't get them to come on Shabbat, let's say it was a certain situation, he said, so then do something Saturday night after Shabbat, make a beautiful Havdalah, make a beautiful event on Sunday, figure out how to get, that's not, he told me that's not what God wants you to do, to make the guy sin in order for you to go ahead and you want him to grow. You want him to grow. Okay, figure it out. That's not what God wants you to do, to make the guy do a sin. Or that's how he told me in the situation that I had asked him about. So the Gemara says, we Shehari Amr Torah lo sachmo, one Ariel, lo sachmo lo sachaslav. Don't have mercy on this guy who's trying to persuade you to do idolatry of Avodah Zarah. So we see that that's the only case, that's the only exception a child could kill his father. If his father's trying to get him to do Avodah Zarah. But every other case, a child has no right to kill his father. So how could there be opinion that says that the son could be a Goel Adam to kill his father? So the Gemara says, Ela lo kasha, Hobib no, Hobib ben beno. The question, the Braita that says that it's forbidden for a child to be the Goel Adam, that's an actual child. But the Braita that says, the opinion that says that he's allowed to be a Goel Adam, that he's allowed to be the avenger, that's a grandchild. A grandchild doesn't have that level, so some understand the Gemara, that the grandchild does not have that level of honoring his father, honoring his grandfather the way a child has to honor his father. So a child cannot be an executioner. A child can't do such things, but a grandchild, even though we say b'nei banim harei kibanim, a grandchild is like a son. In many ways, certain things we say a grandchild is like a son. B'nei banim harei kibanim. But regarding this law of acting as an executioner of the court, that we don't find that a grandson can't do. So even though a grandson has a responsibility, the Ramah, the Ashkenaz rabbi writes, has to honor his grandfather. There's a mitzvah, but the honor of a grandson to a grandfather is not the same way a child has to their father. It's a different level. It's not the same level. It's a lower level. And because it's a lower level, I don't know if that's right word to say lower level, it's not the same level, therefore, he's allowed to go ahead and be the Goel Hadam. He can go ahead and avenge the blood. We'll be back on Monday. Is there any time that works on Monday for you? I mean,
Whatever time works for you.
Fine. So I'm going to talk to other people as well, and we'll come to a vote, and then we'll. I don't want to make it so efficient. We'll talk to the people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a beautiful Shabbat.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
You too.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.